Hey there, you're listening to Your Life is Awesome, brought to you by Enjoy Toys, featuring true life stories about sex told by audience members at Smut Slams around the world. Smut Slam is a growing network of dirty storytelling shows founded in 2011 by me, Cameron Moore. We do our best to keep Smut Slam safe, but safe doesn't mean G-rated. Some of these stories are explicit as fuck. If you're not into that, now is a good time to get out. Otherwise, enjoy the show.
Your life is awesome! Your life is awesome!
Hello, my freaky friends, and welcome to Your Life is Awesome, a podcast featuring stories from Smut Slam. This is a sex-positive community storytelling show that happens all around the world. Basically, we give audience members the opportunity to come up and tell their own true life sex stories, and amazingly, some of them do. Honestly, I've been doing this for over 13 and a half years, and I still don't understand why people do it, but they do. I do think a part of that is we take deliberate steps to create a safer and supportive space at our shows. And two of the tools we do to make that happen are our code of conduct, which is how we kind of all mutually agree collectively to respect each other, and then the educational moments that could follow. So it's a lot of work to hold and maintain that space, but we think it's very important to making the Smut Slam both exciting and encouraging and educational and like I said, safer. Okay, if you want to read about that, you can check out the full code of conduct at smutslam.com. Just go there and look up Code of Conduct. You can read a little bit more about it. I think it makes Smut Slam super special. This particular episode was recorded in Berlin on May 20th, 2024. The theme was the great outdoors. Now, I'll be honest, I expected more, I don't know, frolicking in meadows, climbing up mountain. I mean, I guess I was thinking about The Sound of Music when I say it out loud like that. But this was, like I said, this episode was done in Berlin. A lot of the people in Berlin are kind of city dwellers. So yes, the stories took place outdoors, but we got some action at an alumni meetup. We got some action in public buildings and churches. We got some excellent tales of like urban parks, in particular, a little bit of kinky hijinks on Tempelhofer Feld in Berlin, which is definitely great and it's outdoors, but it is extremely an urban park. So all that to say, we got to cover a whole wide range of territory, and you get to enjoy the fruits of that expedition. In between the stories, we have what we call fuck buckets. They're basically anonymous questions or confessions that audience members can drop into a bucket or some other vessel. Anyway, and then I, as the host, get to wrestle with the questions. I think, I mean, always fuck buckets are interesting. I think we had a couple of particularly strong ones this last time. Those are important for making everyone feel like they're helping to create this show. So I hope you're looking forward to that, and that you basically just need to strap in right now. Sit down, prepare yourself for a real journey here with the great outdoors. I'll see you on the other side. A student group I was in was meeting in the rooms of the Christian Student Union. When I had the key, me and two friends sneaked in at night and had sex on the floor of the main communal room. I hate to tell you, but you probably weren't the first people to have sex on the floor. There's something about Christian student unions that just makes everybody want to like fuck it up, you know? Like, leave stains on the carpet, we don't care. I wish I didn't have to do boring things like work and could instead focus on being the subbiest sub. And they drew a winking cat emoji. We all know what that winking cat means, right? Do we? Do we know? I don't know. It's cute. It's cute. When I have sex with myself or another person, I cannot come unless I think of at least 3 people being active with me. That could make for some very complicated sex toy situations, but you know, yeah, cool. I like it, yeah.
So, penises. I do not have one. And when I was a very virginal young Christian college student, I hadn't seen very many, and so they were very scary to me. They kind of seemed to want things, and the few experiences I had with penises were very intimidating and kind of, yeah. So after college, when I was about 24, I was living with my mom in the San Fernando Valley, trying to figure out what to do with my life, and I went to an alumni event where I met Evan, and Evan had dropped out of my college, but he still showed up, and we hit it off, and he was big and had a big beard, and I found him really attractive, and he lived with his grandparents in a nearby city, and he was a chain smoker and had a drinking problem, and he had lost his license because of that. And so when I would go out with him, I would drive there in my mom's car. I didn't really have much going for me either. And we couldn't come to my mom's house to get it on, so we would go, as announced, we would go driving around LA, around the valley, up into the canyons, up on, I don't know, Topanga Canyon, up, and we'd get out in the night and go out. He put his jacket down and we'd get it on in the mountains of LA. Sounds super romantic, but it's not. And then we'd drive down to Zuma Beach or Malibu and go down, and again the jacket would come out, but you know it doesn't. Sand doesn't work with the vagina that much. I knew. So we knew we weren't the only people getting it on, of course, out in the wild. But when I would go visit him at his grandparents' basement, I wasn't allowed to go upstairs to pee after sex because his grandparents thought that he was a good boy and loved his girlfriend, who still lived back at the college area, who, of course, he couldn't drive there because he didn't have a car or a license or anything. So Evan, he was lovely, and I somehow, when he told me that he loved me as much as he loved his girlfriend, I thought, I just, no one had ever said they loved me before, especially not someone that I had sex with, and I was 24 years old, and I just couldn't, I couldn't let it go for a while there. And you might, of course, be wondering, Bettina, what were you doing with this loser? He had, when I saw him at his grandparents', I had to go out the garage door and squat behind a shrubbery next to the door, hoping that somebody wouldn't drive by right at that moment and get the headlights on my ass, because I wasn't allowed to go upstairs because I was not supposed to be there. But so the question again, why? And now it's been a long time since then, and I can say that I needed Evan. Not only did I need to know that sex and sand don't mix, but I also needed to know, of course, how low I would stoop to get attention and affection. And also, I had a complex. I had developed a stereotypical American Judeo-Christian complex around sex and penises, and I had a fear of the penis that had become sort of generalized. Even though I'd only seen a few at that point, they were so scary to me. But sitting in Evan's grandparents' basement, at the base of the bed, kneeling in front of him and sucking his very modest penis, I was able to get comfortable and touch it and lick it and suck it and not feel any pressure whatsoever. And so Evan he served a purpose in my life, and I'm thankful to this day. Thank you.
Just a reminder that modest is not a punchline when it comes to penises. That there's a lot of room in there for average, and average penises do work quite well, if not for other reasons, at least for those that worked for Bettina. Also, I have to say that was the best way to start a Smut Slam story. So, penises. Jeez. They were so nervous, and then penises, it's like, it's hard for me to take your nervousness claims seriously when you start out with penises. I definitely had a very distinct lack of exposure to penises for a long time when I got back into penises, because I had been very into penises when I was in college, but then I was drunk all the time, so I didn't remember anything, and I didn't have to know anything. And then I was with people with vaginas for a long time, and with my girlfriend, monogamous for a long time, and so it was all pussies, which is great. I got really good at pussies. But then when I decided to get into like dicks again, it was like, holy shit, what is this? Why does scrotal skin move? Yes. When you touch it, it's weird, right? I used to spend hours just going like, watching the terrain like shift. It was. Tell me you haven't done the same. You can't. Right? It's hydraulic. It's weird. Do you like being tied up? Round of applause if you like being tied up. Oh, that keeps going. Okay, all right. All right, so a lot of people like being tied up. Round of applause if you like tying people up. This is forever the economics of the shibari community. Sorry. Actually, almost any kink community, there's going to be more bottoms than tops. Y'all, we need to stop being so greedy, is what I'm saying. Okay. Never. No. Absolutely hold out for your needs, right? But like, I just want to say, like, it is a real thing, and tops deserve appreciation and love. They are not just here to service your slutty little selves, okay? So. They may say they are, but inside they really want someone to give them a teddy bear and a hot chocolate. You can quote me on that. Yeah, no, okay. So recently I had my first DP, that means double penetration, first DP, and I was wondering if it is my distraction problem or not, but I could only focus on one penetration, not on both at the same time. Is that normal? Yes. That is not a pathology, that is not your focus, or that's not an ADHD thing. That is the mechanics of double penetration. There's a lot going on, and humans can only absorb one of those things at a time, or your brains will be scrambled. Okay, so this is it. Don't worry about it. Focus on one, enjoy that. Enjoy that. Okay. I kind of love saying, if I'm allowed a moment of cuntiness, or that's just me being cunty, and I'm a cis queer man, is that wrong? I mean, there's a long history of cis queer men taking girly things, traditionally like feminine things, or like, playing with the gender assignments that we've been given. I don't know. Isn't cunty like a good thing these days now? She was serving cunt, right, at the models and things? Or is it cunty always going to be like, she's such a cunt? It's both. Because people are definitely serving cunt at models, at fashion shows, as far as I know, right? Is that wrong? Am I not seeing it in the usage? Okay, the amount of time that I just spent worrying about that, you should spend 10 times that amount worrying about it, all right? Think about it. Think about it, because it's really true. It's really true that, like, that there's a nice little underlay of, like, misogyny that goes along with using, she's such a bitch, she's such a cunt, and all that. I would say, I personally would say, if it's clear that in the context that this is like a complimentary cunt, I wouldn't blanket that. But here's the thing you have to remember: is it okay? Anytime you ask a question, is it okay? You're not going to be able to get a full consensus of the entire fucking people you're asking, right? So you have to know going in, like, okay, I want to use cunt because I feel strongly about the power of cunt. You have to know that someone might be offended, and their being offended is not in any way diminished by the fact that one of your friends said it was okay for you to say cunt. This applies for any marginalized group. You can add in any word that you want. My friend who is an X said it's okay for me to use this Y term. That's great. You can use it with them, but with confidence. But with anybody else, you're going to have that, you don't know, and you're going to have to possibly get into that discussion. So you get to decide for yourself. That's what I have to say. Okay. All right. I bet some of you newbies weren't thinking like, shit, they get into serious stuff in here, right? We do get into serious stuff. We have fun, but also things are important. So things are sometimes things.
A while ago, I was in Cali, not California, Cali in Colombia. If you haven't been, fully recommend. It's the salsa capital of Colombia, and I was in a hostel. And you know how hostels go, is a shared room. And this beautiful guy was staying at the dorm with me, this Dutch doctor, actually. And we kind of locked eyes, like, the first time that he got in, like, there was a vibe there, and that night we decided, everybody from the hostel, we're going to the salsa club in Cali, which is very famous, to dance salsa. And this gringo, he was dancing salsa. I was like, yeah, I'm impressed. So, you know, the vibes were on, and we were flirting. We all went back, like a big group, back to the hostel, but we couldn't go back to the rooms. We were excited still, so we're just like, I was just gonna have some drinks at the terrace. And yeah, it was everybody there. Like, we sit on the hammock. He immediately, like, starts massaging my legs. I was like, oh, okay. Looks like we're fucking. I'm on board. So quickly people realize that, like, something is going on. They start, like, slowly leaving. And there is this one German girl that she is left, like, I don't know, sometimes Germans don't pick on social cues so well. Sometimes, it's not always. But that was the case, and she was, like, lingering there, and I was like, she was like, oh, you guys look like an old married couple. I was like, what? Yeah, and can you please retreat to your room? So she finally did, and we're like, okay, finally, we start making out pretty heavily. And he starts fingering me in the hammock, doing a great job. I'm having a great time. I reach into his pants, and suddenly I feel him tensing up, like, and inside his pants, I just feel like, I'm like, oh my God, did I do something wrong? And he's like, oh, look. And there was a security camera pointing right at us. And the thing is, the security camera feed was going to the reception, and the reception was 24 hours. There was definitely people there at the time. Well, I was like, well, it's okay, you know, maybe the angle is not, like, they're not going to be able to see anything. And he was like, yeah, sure. I mean, the vibe was killed, like, nothing happened. We went back to the room. The next day, I just snuck past the reception to see if the angle Like you could see it, you could absolutely see everything. But I am glad I provided entertainment for a night shift for the reception people. So yeah, that's my story.
This is the other thing, right, about outdoor, semi-public stuff. If you think that no one can see, you are wrong. You are fooling yourself. Someone can always see. I'm scared to go on dating apps here in Berlin. Because what if I fall in love? I don't live in Germany. Am I going to U-Haul here? So they're scared of falling in love because they don't want that long distance relationship. I can relate. But I say, well, they're not asking for advice. Fucking go for it, right? Fucking go for it. Life is too short. This planet is dying. Go and get your love and your sex where you can. That should not be my fucking rallying cry or things that I do. Everybody knows it, right? Jesus Christ.
What better way to start than with, I was a virgin. At some point. So there was a canoe trip, and I was pretty inexperienced, as virgins generally are. Well, and there was this one girl, and I was, well, let's say oblivious, completely oblivious that anyone in the world would make advances to me on a canoe trip where we were out camping. I had never had sex before. I think I've kissed one girl before, and I was like, okay, what's gonna happen here? I didn't know yet. And I also didn't know when she was going to invite me into her tent, because we didn't have enough room for all people to sleep in. And one of the persons she was actually, or that was actually supposed to be in her tent, canceled last minute. So she was like, okay, anyone else wants to sleep in my tent? What about you? And I'm like,
Yes.
I'm like, no, I'm fine sleeping in the boat. Right? Do you know this feeling when you go outside of your body and you feel everybody staring at you, like you've just said something that made sense to you, but not to everybody else on the boat, and they were just like, okay, and I was like, yeah, okay, I guess the floor is hard. I can sleep in the tent, I have no problem. Like, you take the boat. She was not having it. So I slept in her tent. And I was like pretty respectful about it. Like, okay, this is my sleeping bag, this is your sleeping bag. And I'm like, okay, let's go to sleep. All right. And I turned around and it was cozy. And she got closer. And she got closer. And it was like, it is cold today. And I'm like, no, not really. I don't know, was everybody that weird as a virgin? Well, maybe.
Yes.
All right. So she started cuddling with me, and I was like, okay. It probably took me an hour to see what's going on. So, yeah, she started kissing me, and I was kissing her back. I'm not saying I kissed her back, because she was taking total initiative. She got on top of me, she was like really going at it. And that was it for that night, because I was done, I was completely overwhelmed. The canoe trip lasted a few days. We did not have sex then, but afterwards I got a message, and she was like, "Are you a virgin?" I'm like, what if do you want to find out? And I'm like, thinking back at this, it's like, It was so damn obvious. Okay. Well, she just sent one message like, let's change that.
This is what I'm saying. Direct communication can be really fucking hot. Let's change that. Amazing. Skills. That is mad skills. Oh my God. Once upon a time, I did holidays in a camper van. We took some acid. Later that night, we had sex. It was so intense, I saw flowers. And when they came, they exploded into colorful blossom. Poof. Wow. That's nice. That's all right. That's pretty, huh? That's it. That's a wholesome thing. That's it. Wow. I sent out 15 letters to all of my family members to come out as non-binary. Yay! We've got a little party emoji going on here in the bottom. That's amazing. You know, newsletters will do that for you. You don't have to write individual, but I mean, no. Okay, personal touch, personal touch. That's amazing. Congratulations. It's gotta feel good. Okay. Ooh. These are great. I used a strap-on for the first time on Friday. What a powerful feeling. Love it! Exclamation mark. Yeah.
Late summer last night, I was dating that French guy. We've seen each other for a couple of times. It was definitely always spicy. And he always, like when he visited me, he always brought great food and bubbles. I loved that. It was like late September, early October, and I was thinking about, okay, what to do. Maybe let's enjoy the last summer night and go for a picnic. And as I know, he always will bring like good bubbles and good food. I packed my like favorite expensive wine glasses and got like real cutlery and all the stuff. Yeah, and we were there, had like good food, and the sun was going down. And at some point, he was telling me about the play party he has been to a couple of days ago. And at some point, he was like, "Is it okay that I'm telling you that?" And I was like, "Are you kidding? Please go on. I want to know everything about that." And I got really, really horny. And I was like, okay, it's like the last really nice summer night probably. Maybe we should use that. And we were at Victoria Park. I don't know if you've been there. If you're thinking about having outdoor sex, I would totally recommend that. It got like, good thing about late summer, it gets dark a little earlier. So yeah, it got darker and darker, and we were like, okay, let's do that. So we were trying to find our spot. And because he was telling me all that stories, I was so damn ready. But as we heard earlier today, you fucking need something to lean on. And I didn't really think about that when we were like choosing the spot. So if you don't have anything to lean on, the better option is probably like that he got me from the back. And I put like my backpack on a rock and tried to lean on my backpack. Let's say it worked out. We had fun. Then we went to my place. I got the stuff out of my backpack, and obviously both wine glasses were broken. And and there was like olive oil from the antipasti all over the place. But yeah, I say it was worth it.
I don't think it takes any amount of particular like foreshadowing awareness on my part to see like I saw that coming when you mentioned the backpack. Oh Lord. I had my first threesome last Sunday and I loved it. That's very cute. That's very cute. Sometimes I wish that we could, like, because people don't give permission to show these things because of handwriting. They don't want people to recognize the handwriting, but they put illustrations on these that are so fucking cute. That one had a little emoji that's drooling and blushing at the same time. Super cute. Aw, I know, right? I'm a 47-year-old straight woman, divorced. Should I stop? She wrote down dating and slashed through it and said fucking. Should I stop fucking 30-year-old men? It seems like they are my best matches. Fucking why would you? Go for it, man.
So this is a story of love and animal safety. The story begins October 2022. It was COVID. I was living in Singapore. It was a hellhole. And you couldn't leave Singapore without coming back into the country if you left. But the first country that they opened up travel to was Germany, and I was on the first flight out to a little bit of freedom. I flew here, went to Berlin. I meant to stay for 10 days. I ended up staying for 30, and on my second to last day of this trip, I was staying around, but I met this person, and we fell madly in love. We kept in touch. I went back to Singapore. I decided I wanted to move here because I also just really loved it here. But anyway, it was like 6 months of like sexting and like hot internet shit. And I finally made it. When I came back, it was like beautiful springtime and it was sexy and it was summer. We went out for drinks. We were horny. It's like the beginning of a relationship. You want to fuck all the time. We were near Tempelhof. And we started kissing. It was after drinks. And we walked out to a park bench. And I was like, I want to do stuff. And he's like, not here. And then we like walked a little bit. I saw a playground. And he's like, not here. You little perv. That is illegal. We kept walking, and I was like, what about Tempelhof? I know a grassy place. So we walked to Tempelhof, found a little grassy place. It was like maybe this tall, and we're like, we can kind of hide in there. And so we laid down at Tempelhof. And I started giving him a blowjob, and it was awesome, and it was super hot. I think at some point I tried to take off my pants and ride him, but it didn't work out. And so I just, yeah. It was really fun, and then all of a sudden we hear like wild barking. So we both quickly like pulled up our pants. And I look in front of me, and there's this big dog, like huge muscular dog, and we're making eye contact. And he's staring right at me, and I felt the shame of my Asian parents through the eyes of this dog, scolding me, like, what the fuck were you doing? Why did you move to Berlin to suck this man off at Tempelhof? And in that moment, I was like, oh my God, he's gonna get his dick bitten off, and it's gonna be my fault. The dog did not. I think he was just trying to warn his owner of these little pervs that were fucking outside and to not come here. So we were safe. But yeah, lesson learned that night. 2 lessons learned. Lesson 1 was that thinking back, I was like, that kind of turned me on, and maybe I'm a little bit of an exhibitionist. Lesson 2, beware of dogs.
So I am not a dog person. Are you not supposed to make eye contact with them? You're supposed to look away, otherwise they perceive it as a challenge, right? Depends on the vibe. I would say that vibe was pretty fucking hostile right there. Because her parents were there. Her parents were there. That's amazing. That is, pure projection into that animal. Good heavens. Oh, gosh. Let it be noted for the record that I did not come up with this, all right? This is somebody else saying it. Capitalism and all the horrors of the world kill my sex drive. 1, does anyone feel the same? 2, help, with 3 question marks after that. Okay. I believe that you can definitely spend time in that space, and that will definitely drag down your libido, and it will definitely kill it. Definitely. I understand that. And a lot of people are nodding their heads and going, yep. There are probably any number of Tumblr poets writing about finding the joy and the moments in this life. No matter how dire it is, you have to find those moments of joy. You have to make space in your own head and your heart to keep going. Because we have a long haul in front of us as a species, as a planet. You must rest. You must find joy. You must find connection. All right? I don't know how to tell. I know that's really hard. I guess it's like talk to people about it. Tell your friends. Make space for yourself. You cannot always be on the front lines of the protest. You cannot always be suffering. Your suffering is not actually helping other people. You have to rest so we can fight. And that means finding joy. Thank you.
That was amazing. What did I tell you? Yeah, lots of territory in that particular episode. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you got a little bit inspired there. Remember to check with your own city for local ordinance about public decency. Thanks. I guess that's our legal disclaimer for this particular episode. Ooh. Specifically, I want to give a big shout out to Crack Belmer. This was our final show of the season at Crack Belmer. They're our home for indoor shows in Berlin. So they make things really wonderful for us all throughout most of the year. With it's just a great vibe in that space, and of course we have our favorite bartender Zula. Ooh. So yeah, if you're in Berlin, don't stress, our season's not over. We're just changing location. We're going to Villa Curiosum for our next slam in Berlin. So we start the outdoor season for the next 4 months. That's what's going on there. But again, go check out Crack Belmer if you're in Berlin. They're a great place. And make sure you join the Patreon. If you haven't already, you should be supporting the work that we do. Honestly, Smut Slam's amazing. Smut Slam's amazing. You're amazing. And you're amazing for listening to it. And more people should be listening to it. And we can do that if you help support this work. Join the Patreon and you could have access to early and extended episodes. Again, just patreon.com, look for Your Life is Awesome, all one word, and become part of the whole Smutterling network. Woo woo. Now, for upcoming live shows everywhere, you can always go check out our website, but I'll just tell it to you right now real quick, what's happening in the next month. I'll be honest, I like to read the list so that I can feel really good about what's become my life mission. Okay, so here we go with the shows upcoming in the Smut Slam network for about the next month. It is Copenhagen, June 11th. That's me hosting that show. Also on June 11th, Didi Brazier is running the slam in Vancouver, British Columbia. The next day, June 12th, she's going to be doing Victoria. So go check that out if you're in Western Canada. On the 17th, like I said, Berlin Smut Slam is pulling up into Villa Curiosum. I'll be hosting that. On June 21st, we've got we've got Diva Darling in Baltimore. That is one of our newer slams in the network. Diva is also the host of the DC Slam. That'll be coming back soon. Don't worry about it, folks. But in the meantime, she started up this little machine up there in Baltimore, and it is going amazing. So June 21st, go check that out, Baltimore. June 23rd, Busty Latish in Amsterdam is holding down that particular fort. And then, for those who know, you know, we're taking Smut Slam, the Berlin crew is taking Smut Slam to Fusion Festival on June 29th. I guess it's a big deal, right? So we're going to be at Content at the Fusion Festival on Saturday evening, June 29th. If you're at the festival, come check us out and say hi. And finally, Boston is coming back around, hosted by Victor Victrola on July 2nd. All right, we're still staying live. I'll be honest, personally, I'm winding down quite a bit for the summer. Even the filthmonger's got to take a break sometime, okay? I am doing one extra show on June 16th, the day before the Smut Slam. I'm going to be telling a filthy funny story in Jokes on Us at Das Gift on June 16th. So if you're in Berlin, that's an extra chance to see me. Otherwise, just follow me on Instagram, because I post up my stuff there. Follow Smut Slam on Instagram, Smut Slam INTL. That's Smut Slam INTL, or on Facebook, Smut Slam International. Stay in touch. Tell your friends, if they're not in any of the areas where we're doing live shows, they should still follow this fantastic podcast. So I hope you're stepping into the summer feeling good, feeling strong, thinking about what else you can do for your own personal smut plans, the smut agenda. Happy Pride to all those who celebrate, which I hope is all of you. And we'll see you next time. Remember, your life is awesome.
This has been Your Life is Awesome, a story podcast from Smut Slam with Cameron Moore. Produced by me, Mark Seistedt. Music by Sticky Biscuits. A huge thank you to all storytellers featured. All stories are being shared with permission. Thanks also to Enjoy Toys, makers of deluxe stainless steel instruments of pleasure, for continually supporting Smut Slam. Find them at enjoytoys.com. If you want to help us make more of these, plus get access to longer episodes and other bonus material, please join our Patreon at patreon.com. Your life is awesome. If that's not in the cards right now, you can also help by rating and reviewing this show. Look for that option in your podcast app. We might read out some reviews on a future episode. Got a question for Cameron? Write or send a voice recording to smutslampodcast@gmail.com. This too might be featured on the podcast. And if you want to find out more about Smut Slam and the code of conduct we use in the shows, go to smutslam.com. All links mentioned can be found in the podcast info. Thanks for listening.
Your life is awesome! Your life is awesome!